Okay, cool. So Jose is up first. Says, "Hey guys, thanks for the event and the opportunity of asking you. You're welcome." He says, "I have a long-term fashion WordPress blog. Last year, I made many local subdomains, city subdomains. So the main blog, primary domain, has no new content as long as I publish now in each subdomain." So, okay, I'm assuming he's publishing blog posts directly from each subdomain, which that's a lot of work, man. A lot of management, right? It's a lot of blogs to track or to maintain. So what should I do to make it still active? I think about publishing in the primary domain using IFTTT all new subdomain articles with attribution linked to the subdomain where the entry belongs originally. This domain has visitors and it can help everyone to know their local subdomain, but not sure how to do it better or if this is good enough idea in SEO terms. What do you think? Thanks again. Well, you know, it depends, Jose. I'm not sure because I'm not sure 100% as to what, if each one of your individual subdomain sites has its own syndication network that you're syndicating to. If that's the case, then I say this all the time, that if you're going to have multi-locations, that I recommend using the blog on the root domain as your content distribution engine. And what you do is you set up categories on the main blog. So on your root domain, you set up categories for each one of the locations. Each subdomain site, you name a category after that subdomain or that city, right? That location. And then you publish your blog posts on your root domain. But you select the correct category that it goes into. And then obviously you link your internal link to promote the subdomain within the blog post for that specific location will point to that subdomain, either the homepage of the subdomain or any one of the internal pages or another blog post. It doesn't matter. The point is the internal link from the blog post, the primary internal link, is to push to that subdomain, any one of the pages on the subdomain that you're trying to promote, right? And the idea is that that way you only have one blog to maintain, but you can still promote all of your individual locations from the same blog. It's much, much easier to manage. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't still have subdomain sites with their own blogs and their own syndication networks, but it's not really necessary. And typically what I do is, let's just say, for example, you've got 10 subdomain sites and you're pushing all of your content through your root blog in the setup that I just explained or that I just mentioned, right? Let's say out of those 10, only 6 of them are responding well to the posts from the root domain to one branded syndication network. Well, then those other 4 locations that aren't responding as well, that could use an additional push, then you can always put location-specific subdomains around each one, or excuse me, subdomains, I meant syndication networks. So location-specific syndication networks around each one of those subdomain location sites, and then publish directly from the subdomain site to those networks, or still publish from your root domain, but just use the category feed. So I don't know if you know this, most of you probably do, but WordPress will give you a category RSS feed so that you can push or syndicate posts from one particular category only, and it will omit syndicating posts from the rest of the general feed or any of the other categories because it's a category specific feed, right? And so my point is, having subdomain or location specific syndication networks, they don't necessarily have to be syndicated to anyways, because they just help to validate the entity and help to push additional location relevancy to that specific location subdomain, because it's a geo-specific syndication network, if that makes sense. But it does certainly help if you can publish directly to those geo-specific syndication networks as well. And again, there's 2 ways to do it. Either publish directly from the subdomain site itself that's corresponding with that syndication network, or publish directly from the root blog, which again, I still recommend that method because it's one less blog to maintain, right? You just publish using the category RSS feed. So essentially with the geo network in the IFTTT account, you would just use the trigger. The trigger would be the RSS, the category feed, right? The RSS feed for that specific category. And that way you're still just maintaining one blog, but you can promote all of your individual location sites and actually even populate geo-specific syndication networks all from one location. And so it's just a lot more of an efficient process that way. So that's what I would recommend that you do. if you already have a bunch of posts that have been syndicated out from your subdomain sites, then yeah, you can do that. You can republish those same posts onto your root blog and just point an attribution link back to the original source. Like it would be very similar to curating like from your subdomain sites onto your root blog. And you can certainly do that as well. In fact, you can even publish posts on your root blog where you've curated snippets from pages of your subdomain sites and just link back. That gives you an excuse to do an internal link with an attribution link back to that original source, but it's a curated link as opposed to like a standard contextual link, if that makes sense. So, you know, again, I highly recommend that you guys try to get your desired results, try to achieve your desired results with the least amount of effort. And that's where using a root domain blog for even a multi-location, you know, subdomain setup that's the most efficient way to do it. You guys want to comment on that at all?
No, that's the way we have been talking about it, and that's the way we do it. So yeah, I totally agree with you, Bradley, in terms of the relationship effort versus results has been the best way to go.
Yeah, I like easy as much as possible, right?